Good afternoon. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We know President Trump on his way to the Keystone State, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That happening here right now as we speak, actually. President Trump on his way. We also have a press gaggle that President Trump just completed just a few minutes ago. So we can go to that. I believe we can start that right now. Is that right, guys? All right, let's go to that.
We brought our star along here. We're going to Pittsburgh. We're going to be touting about, actually, it's going to be numbers like nobody's ever heard before. It's mostly to do with AI. We have tremendous investments being made, literally trillions of dollars of investments being made in our country on AI, artificial intelligence. I don't know if the word artificial is a good word, but that's the word. That's what they've chosen. So I think we're going to have a very successful trip. We had a good call with the Texas congressman this morning, as you probably heard, and that went very well. And you have any questions? Yeah.
Mr. President, your reaction to the latest numbers from the Labor Department saying that inflation rose slightly last month?
Very slight. Essentially, they were exactly as anticipated. Very low inflation. So what you should do is lower the rate. The Fed should lower the rate immediately. We had a big win with the Supreme Court on the Department of Education. As you know, we want to bring education back to the states, take the federal government out of it. A little tiny bit of supervision, but very little, almost nothing, like to make sure they speak English. That's about all we need. But well, we have school choice, and we're getting school choice approved all over the country. We just got it done in Texas, and school choice is the answer. Yes, I see. Well, at the end of 50 days, if we don't have a deal, it's going to be too bad. Well, the tariffs are going to go on, and other sanctions go on.
Should Zelensky target Moscow? Should Zelensky target Moscow, sir? Should Zelensky target Moscow or deeper into Russia?
No, he shouldn't target Moscow.
Is that why you have weapons, though?
No, we're not looking to do that.
Mr. President, why are you giving Mr. Putin 50 additional days to prosecute this war against Ukraine?
Oh, I don't think 50 days is very long, and it could be sooner than that. I don't think 50 days is very long.
Mr. President,
you should have asked that same question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? You should ask that question. Yeah, and what did he tell you? Why did he get us into this war? You know why he got us in? Because he's a dummy, that's why, and you don't cover it right. But you should be asking that question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? Because he's incompetent. It would have never happened if I were president. So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart. And we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia, everything. As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper. But we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs. So they are giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. And the other part is they are going to pay 19%, and we are going to pay nothing. I think it's a good deal for both parties. But we will have full access into Indonesia. And we have a couple of those deals that are going to be announced. India basically is working along that same line. We're going to have access into India. And you have to understand, we had no access into any of these countries. Our people couldn't go in. And now we're getting access because of what we're doing with the tariffs. So they're paying 19%, and we are not paying anything. And they're going to give us full access into Indonesia. Now, Indonesia has some great product, and they also have some very valuable earths and various other materials. One of the things, as you know, they're known for is very high-quality copper, which we'll be using.
Do you believe your tariffs might have led for inflation to increase last month? Do you think they had any role?
Well, we had very little inflation. I don't know. Who do you work for?
USA Today.
What?
USA Today.
Oh, well, they wrote me a beautiful article the other day, so I can't get angry at you. USA Today just wrote a very good article about me. What's that all about? So I can't get angry at you.
Texas.
No, there was very little inflation, as you know. The numbers were very good, very much inside the margin. So we've had no inflation. All we have is we're making a fortune. We are taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. You saw we had a surplus of $25 billion last month, which we haven't had in many, many years.
Texas.
We are doing it because I'm able to do it. Nobody else would be able to do it. We have tariffs going on because we want tariffs and we want the money coming into the United States. But more important than the money, there's two aspects to tariff. There's the money, which comes in. The other aspect is that rather than paying the tariffs, the country or the company will build in the United States, make their product in the United States, and that creates jobs. And I would say of the two, probably the more important to me is that. Yeah.
Are you on Ukraine's side now?
No, I'm on nobody's side. I'm on no. I want to. You know what the side I'm on? Humanity's side. I want to stop the killing of thousands of people a week. I want to stop the killing. I want the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's the side I'm on.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job, and I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also, but I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important, and you want credible evidence for something like that, and I think the Attorney General has handled it very well. On what? On the on what? On what subject? Okay. A very quick briefing. Yeah.
What did she tell you about the UN specifically? Did she tell you at all that your name appears in the
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
On Texas, how many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
And then what if California, New York, Illinois, and other blue states?
Yeah, well, that's okay too, but 5. I think we get 5. And there could be some other states. We're going to get another 3 or 4 or 5 in addition. Texas would be the biggest one, and that'll be 5.
Are you calling for a complete redrawing of the congressional map?
No, just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats. But we have a couple of other states where we'll pick up seats also. Well, when he was in my office.
And what did you tell him when he was in your office?
I told him he's doing a very bad job. He's way late. That's why I call him too late. Jerome Powell is too late. He's way late. Interest rates should be coming down. We have a very, very successful country. We should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world, and we don't. Jerome Powell has done a terrible job, and frankly, I don't think he could do a worse job. He's called everything wrong. So they had a report come out the other day, 71 different economists, and me. You know who was right? Me. Did you know that? I was right.
I did know, Mr. President. Are you going to appoint Mr. Powell to another term as Fed chair?
You must be kidding. You must be kidding.
What are your thoughts on Andrew?
That's a funny one coming. You had to waste a question like that. No, we are talking to the EU, and we're making progress. But look, we already have a deal with the EU. It's called the letter that was sent out. I think it was 30%. That's the EU. But we, at the same time, we are talking to them. No. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, your reaction to Andrew Cuomo staying in the New York City mayor's race. Andrew Cuomo staying in the New York City mayor's race.
I think he should stay. I think he has a shot.
Would you prefer him over...
Well, I don't want to say. I'm a Republican. He's a Democrat or an independent. No, I think Andrew would have a good shot of winning. He's got to run a tough campaign. He's running against the communists. I would think that he would have a good shot of winning. Steve, go ahead. We're going to be meeting with the British Prime Minister, very respected, and we are going to have a meeting with him probably in Aberdeen, and we're going to do a lot of different things, and we're going to also refine the trade deal that we've made. So we'll be meeting mostly with at probably one of my properties, or maybe not, depending on what happens, but we'll be in Aberdeen in Scotland meeting with the Prime Minister.
Mr. President, do you have a message for the EU if they retaliate to your tariffs?
Well, I don't know how they can retaliate. They've made a lot of money. They've treated us very badly, but now they're treating us very nicely. And I think I think everybody's going to be happy with the EU.
What's your preferred? Is there any plans to meet with Pope Leo and introduce yourself?
Not a plan. I would do it. I have a lot of respect. I really like his brother. His brother is a major, serious Trumper. You know that. He's MAGA all the way. I like the Pope's brother, and I think I'd like the Pope. But the Pope's brother lives in Florida. I met him, and he is MAGA. He's got MAGA signs all over the house. He likes Trump, and I like him. How about you? Well, we're going to see what happens with President Putin. So far, I've been very disappointed with President Putin. I've solved a lot of wars in the last 3 months, but I haven't gotten this one yet. This is a Biden war. It's not a Trump war. I'm here to try and get us out of that mess. Any messages for what? Yeah, go ahead. Do I have a what? For the people of Brazil?
Yes.
Are you from Brazil?
Yeah.
He's going to trial now, right?
Yes.
When is that trial starting? When is the trial for Bolsonaro starting? When is it?
Months ago.
How is it going?
Now they are asking him to find him guilty.
But they haven't found him guilty, have they?
But what do you think?
But have they found him guilty? No. Look, here's the thing. President Bolsonaro is a good man. I've gotten to know a lot of prime ministers and presidents and kings and queens. And I know him, and I'm pretty good at this. President Bolsonaro is not a dishonest man. He loves the people of Brazil. He fought hard for the people of Brazil. He negotiated trade deals against me for the people of Brazil, and he was very tough. And he was tough because he wanted to do a good deal for his country. He was not a dishonest man. And I believe it's a witch hunt, and it shouldn't be happening. And it's not that I know him look, he's not like a friend of mine. He's somebody that I know. And I know him as a representative of millions of people, Brazilians. They're great people. And he loves the country, and he fought hard for those people, and they want to put him in jail. And I think that's a witch hunt, and I think it's very unfortunate. And nobody's happy with what Brazil is doing, because Bolsonaro was a respected president. Very respected.
You say that you want Adam Schiff brought to justice.
I would love to see him brought to justice. I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice. He is a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens. But Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
And tomorrow morning here in Washington,
AOC is hosting for breakfast. Are you invited?
I'd love to be. I'd really love to go. I mean, I look forward to meeting them both. I know them both very well through what I read and through what I see. Look, he's a communist. I don't think our country is ready for a communist, but we're going to see. And I don't think that race is over yet either. You do have a couple of people running against, and it'll be an interesting thing. Things are coming out about him which aren't good. And, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time. I like Dan Bongino, yeah.
Mr. President, do you think Putin respects you and takes your threats seriously?
Okay, that's the latest news right there. Hearing from the Commander-in-Chief at the White House, on his way to Marine One, on his way to Joint Base Andrews. Then the next stop is Western Pennsylvania, Coriopolis to be exact, outside of Pittsburgh, as the president will then head into town to speak at Carnegie Mellon University. We'll have that live broadcast coming up starting at 3 o'clock Eastern. This broadcast is all about the DOJ and the DEA and a joint press conference all about how to combat drug cartels. So we're going to have that for you here in just a second. Before we get to our next live interview, let's go to a number of our great sponsors here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you've been feeling tired or foggy or just low on energy lately, it might not be just stress. It could actually be your cells running low on fuel. So that's why more and more folks are turning to NAD Plus and Methylene Blue. As we get older, our cells slow down, but that doesn't mean you have to. These products are helping people actually boost their energy, clear out the brain fog, and stay sharp. And now you can get both NAD Plus and Methylene Blue at All Family Pharmacy. They make it easy to get the meds you need without the usual runaround. So they have fast shipping, they don't require insurance, and a doctor's prescription is included, which is refreshing because this is a great place here. This is a great independent pharmacy. It's your go-to for essentials like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, antibiotics, and more. It's all online and delivered right to your door. So all you have to do is check out allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use that RSBN 10 promo code to save 10% today. Again, that's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, code RSBN 10 for that 10% off. It's 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's go to callsheet.com before we continue on our live broadcast here. A number of questions to be asked and betted or traded on right there at callsheet.com, whether it's sports or technology, finance, whatever you're kind of into. You can check out most likely that subject right there on callsheet.com/RSBN. Also, you can download their app. So if you're looking to bet and trade or at least check out some of the polls that are out there, you can do that at callsheet.com/RSBN. Great sponsor here at Right Side as we are 9 minutes from the top of the hour. So as we know, during political firestorms, we need an anchor. We need truth, and until we have the receipts or evidence, it's difficult, of course, to confirm any story. But what we do know is the majority of our nation simply loves God, loves family, and loves our country. We stand on the right side of history. Let's now bring in conservative analyst and author T.S. Dixon to hopefully shed some light on what the country has been talking about, President Trump's wins over the past 6 months, and of course, last week's cabinet meeting. And T.S., thanks again for joining us, conservative analyst and author. You heard President Trump there speaking about a number of topics, including the successes, the wins, and also the name Jeffrey Epstein actually was spoken today. Your thoughts about everything that's going on with all the people talking on all sides of the aisle at this point?
Well, Matt, it's been a whirlwind of a story, and it's really been sort of a knot in the gut, I think, of the MAGA supporters, the MAGA movement, because this came out of left field. And I think everyone was just feeling very simply that this is something we demand that exposes corruption in our government and exposes the deep state, exposes the globalist elite. And so it's just a logical conclusion that he's going to get in and his administration is going to, release this to the public. However, one of the big things that Trump has to do, remember, he is a reform president. And so he's coming in to take on a rogue system and bring it to bear and reform it so that it again serves the American people. And the two heads of this snake within this system are really the CIA and the FBI. And so he's going in and sending his cabinet members and his leadership picks in there to deal with these rogue agencies. And again, it's so easy to underestimate these agencies because, you know, they're part of America, right? They're part of the U.S. federal government. They've got to be good. They've got to have good intentions. And so a lot of times we project our goodness and our intentions onto these types of people, but it's a big tactical error. And so, in my opinion, that's where we're running into trouble, is that we're dealing with a rogue FBI and CIA.
So specifically within that framework, are you talking about Kash Patel? Because he's the lead of the FBI. So let's cut through all the stuff here. What are you saying? What's your analysis when it comes to what happened last week with the cabinet meeting and what may be happening if you're saying that there's rogue people within the FBI and the CIA? What's really happening? Let's just let the cat out of the bag.
Right. Well, we know that they're rogue because we have things like Crossfire Hurricane, which they're now starting to investigate, and they are projecting that they intend to prosecute and arrest these guys for this criminal conspiracy, a seditious conspiracy, by the way, to undermine the rule of law and to perform a coup to eject a duly elected president from office. We had the pre-dawn raids of Trump's allies and team members. We had the Jan 6 question marks where they refused to testify before Congress about how many agents were in the crowd, how many assets were in the crowd, if Ray Epps was one of their assets. And so it looks very possible that even Jan 6 was partially an FBI operation of a rogue agency. We also had the raid on Mar-a-Lago, which was unprecedented in its open, brazen corruption and election interference, because that was during an election for the presidency. And Donald Trump was a previously elected president and was the obvious choice for the Republican nomination. And the list goes on and on. So then they get into office, and I was saying, you know, from my first appearance on RSBN, I've been beating this drum that the number one most important thing, part of these reforms, is to go after the politically corrupt actors and do the investigations, do the arrests, the indictments, and bring justice, because that's the only thing that's going to cement these reforms. They're on that now, but it seemed to be a low priority, and they didn't get to it immediately. Instead, what we saw was Kash and Dan, who I think are good actors, Pam Bondi, I think is a good person, came in, and I think that they trusted their team. I think Pam came in initially trusting the DOJ department heads and lawyers, and I think that you had Kash and Dan come in and think we're going to relate to these guys as, you know, federal employees and law enforcement guys, and we're going to relate to these guys, and we trust them. And I think that was the miscalculation from the beginning. If you see the evidence that the FBI presented to Dan and Kash that persuaded them that there was no issue with the suicide, and then we see the tape and there's glaring issues. They tell them we're going to release it when that's unaltered, unedited, and then the tape comes out and it's edited and there's time missing, which obviously Dan and Kash were not briefed on. They were not made aware of this. And so it's easy to point fingers at Trump's cabinet, but I wouldn't point the fingers there. I would look to these agents that are providing them with this misinformation and really setting them up for a fall, it looks like.
So are you saying with Crossfire Hurricane, the raid at Mar-a-Lago, J6, and other things that have happened within people within the FBI, are you saying that there's a connection to that when it comes to this whole Epstein thing?
Yes, you're starting to see, obviously, you know, doing the research, allegedly, but it's pretty obvious that Epstein claimed he was a CIA asset or agent, and that he was performing a blackmail operation at his various properties for intelligence. You know, this is only protested by the governments that he claimed, or it looks like he was working for. Not too many other people are protesting these concepts. And so that right there is a problem. We need to end the practice of this kind of blackmail statecraft in America. This is beyond the boundary of our morals as a country. But then also domestically, you have the FBI that's been trying to run coup operations against Trump since 2015. And we have the receipts. We have the evidence of this. And so why would you think that a rogue and hostile organization that is trying actively, proven, to dislodge this politician, this leader, from his office, that they would stop doing that once he finally won his second term? Obviously, they're still at it. They're still trying. You know, everybody is slamming Pam Bondi, but why did Pam Bondi go on Fox and say that the files were on her desk? Because her staff at the DOJ and the FBI that report to her told her they had given her the files, and she trusted them. And so that's why she believed the files were on her desk. She hadn't been told otherwise. Then when she was embarrassed, not just the influencers that came for the photo op at the White House, she was also embarrassed, obviously. And then she went and found that they were the rest of the evidence was being held in New York at one of their offices, and they refused to give it to her. So she sent in and had to raid the offices to get the evidence. Okay, and then the story goes on from there. So obviously they are trying to obstruct and hide evidence and lie to their superior officers, and this cannot be. And now it looks like there's not. I mean, I think the other interesting thing that's happening right now is the left, who are never silent. They're never quiet. They are extremely quiet right now. And you only see this kind of behavior, this coordinated type of self-suppression, when they're trying to launch an op and coordinating. You know, we saw this particularly around J6 and some other events, and we're seeing the same behavior again now. So that's where I would look. I think one thing I'm very happy that's now coming out of this is they're going after Brennan and Comey and others involved with Russiagate, which was an operation from the FBI called Crossfire Hurricane. It was a coup. It was a seditious conspiracy, which is a criminal act that's completely illegal. There's no statute of limitations against it. But now you're finally starting to see these investigations happen. However, Maureen Comey, Comey's daughter, who somehow suspiciously is always assigned these blackmail cases, she's still working for Pam Bondi. Why is that? Why is she still there? There's many people there. I think if they're serious about getting the DOJ and the FBI under control, Trump, Pam Bondi, Cash, and Dan need to purge the DOJ and the FBI. I think they need to purge it from 3 layers down of leadership and management down from the senior officers, in my opinion, if they're serious about reforming these institutions. Otherwise, I think this will come to such a head, we might have to dissolve these institutions like the DEA and USAID.
If you're just joining us now, it's 2 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday, July 15th. The conservative analyst and author T.S. Dixon, who's been on the broadcast before, and every time he's come on the broadcast, you know, spitting a lot of truth, sharing a lot of analysis. This time, though, T.S., let's just set the record straight. What you're saying is obviously, in your opinion, you have a theory that this is the way it is, that this could be an inside job with the FBI, with the whole Epstein thing. Can you break that down again for us?
Yes, I think it's a rogue agency running an op against Donald Trump's administration. This is me speculating, but it's not that hard to connect these. I am connecting dots, but I don't think these dots are that hard to believe.
Okay. All right. T.S. Dixon, a conservative analyst and author. Sir, thank you again for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, so, you know, bringing on various guests, hearing what their opinions and thoughts are about various topics, including this one. It's not something we're afraid to talk about. And it is encouraging to know that, you know, President Trump spoke about the Epstein case just minutes ago, a little bit during a press gaggle there outside of the White House. We'll replay some of that for you. Our job, of course, here at Right Side is to report the news, also interview people like T.S. Dixon and others. And we also were recently reached out by Senator Tommy Tuberville's office to come on the broadcast and talk about various things out of Alabama and the United States and all the wins under President Trump. And he's also running for governor, of course. So we always like to bring on various guests. So it's then a decision for you. Do you agree with what T.S. was saying? Do you disagree with it? It's one of those things where these kind of stories will report on what people are talking about. That is something obviously people have been talking about. We're not afraid to go there. We just went there. And he's thinking that it might be something within the FBI trying to set up the president, just like other things have happened in the past. we'll see. We'll have to wait and see for evidence, receipts, what may happen today, tomorrow, over the next few weeks. All right, let's go to a number of sponsors here as we await this DOJ, DEA press conference. Okay, we're talking about angelpaste.com out of Spring, Texas. Of course, if you use the RSBN promo code, you can get a discount with the Miracle Cream there, and also a number of other great products on angelpaste.com. So go ahead, check it out. Use the RSBN promo code. You'll get quite the percentage off. Also, mypillow.com/RSBN. RSBN always using the great percentage off there when you use that code. So just go to mypillow.com/RSBN and you can save and have free shipping with RSBN. So go ahead and use it, mypillow.com/RSBN. More than 2,000 products right there for you to check out. As it's 2:03 Eastern, awaiting a live feed to the DOJ and DEA joint press conference all about combating the drug cartel. We'll hear more about that in just a bit. Also, at 3 o'clock Eastern, we'll be live again as we'll see President Trump heading to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And speaking of that, why don't we go to that video of the president from moments ago where the president was boarding Air Force One. We'll watch the takeoff, and then right after that, we'll go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back here on Right Side. All right, so 2:09 Eastern time. That was from moments ago. President Trump already in the air right now, of course, in Air Force One, flying from Maryland there, Joint Base Andrews, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to the west side of the state, of course, not too far from that Ohio line. And then we'll be seeing the president tonight, or actually this afternoon. Specifically, he'll be there this afternoon, this evening. He'll deliver remarks to the inaugural Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit. That's hosted by Senator Dave McCormick, of course, today, July 15th at 3:30 Eastern. Looking live now at the DOJ and DEA joint press conference that's about to start. We'll take you there as soon as that does start. Specifically back to the Pittsburgh coverage, that will start at 3 o'clock as well, so in about 50 minutes from now. So most likely we'll watch this press conference here together. Once that wraps up, we'll start a new stream. We'll go live then for our coverage of the president's trip to Western Pennsylvania. Speaking of the trip, we do know that Pennsylvania Senator Dave McCormick said yesterday that big things are happening this week in Pennsylvania. Our inaugural Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit will showcase all that is great about our Commonwealth and will spotlight incredible investments that will fuel good-paying jobs, energy independence, and the AI revolution. Grateful to President Trump and industry leaders for ensuring Pennsylvania's brightest days are ahead. So what we'll do here is let's keep the live split screen. Actually, let's go there now.
Good afternoon and welcome to the DEA. My name is Robert Murphy, the Acting Administrator for the United States Drug Enforcement Administration. On behalf of the men and women of DEA, I'm privileged to stand here today alongside the Attorney General of the United States, whose leadership, support, and unwavering commitment to public safety has been instrumental in DEA carrying out its vital mission. It is an honor to introduce the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi.
Thank you all for being here today. This is so important why we're here today. Acting Administrator Murphy, thank you for everything you do. We've been to DEA labs together. You have been fighting this every day, and I can't thank you enough. It's been an incredible few weeks for the DEA nationwide. We're here today to announce the historic success through Operation Take Back America. We should remember why this work matters. We're honored today to be here with Chelsea Curtis. She is a brave sister. She lost 2 of her brothers to drug overdoses, 1 to heroin, and her second brother she lost to cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. Chelsea works with us here at the Department of Justice. And she's in the District of Virginia, and she does amazing work, and she is paying it forward by looking out for other victims and their families and fighting this epidemic throughout our country. Thank you, Chelsea, for being here with us. Over the 4th of July weekend, DEA agents executed successful operations throughout this country. One in Columbia, South Carolina, where they seized 71 kilos of fentanyl and 20 kilos of methamphetamine. This is very near the University of South Carolina, where dealers, we all know, often target college kids. They put these drugs in pill forms to go after our kids. This includes a seizure in Fresno, California, also 4th of July weekend. Acting Director Murphy is going to get into details about these, but this is why this is so important, and this is something new that I hadn't seen. 24 pounds of carfentanil disguised as real prescription pills. Carfentanil, we all know, is even stronger than fentanyl. They often call it the elephant tranquilizer. And it was carfentanil in prescription pills to look like oxycodone. That should terrify every parent in this country. In many cases, illegal aliens are doing the work of cartels in our communities. In one recent example, just 2 weeks ago, the DEA arrested an illegal alien sitting in the front passenger seat of a trailer truck that contained over 700 pounds of methamphetamine. 700 pounds. Something else I hadn't seen, they are now putting methamphetamine in a pill form. First time we've seen that. A pill form. Now, a pill form of methamphetamine might not kill you instantly, but it can get you so addicted to meth that it can destroy your life instantly. DOJ attorneys will continue to prosecute these violent criminals, and they're all violent. If you are dealing in these drugs to Americans, to any citizen in this world, you're a violent criminal, and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Since January 20th, DEA has been removing this poison from our streets at a historic rate. They've seized over 44 million fentanyl pills, over 4,500 pounds of fentanyl powder, over 64,000 pounds of methamphetamine, 64,000, nearly totaling the same amount that was seized in all of 2024. 541,000 pounds of cocaine. And what they're doing, they just take a little fentanyl and lace it in that cocaine, which is how Chelsea lost her brother. We will not rest until these FTOs are eliminated, their members are prosecuted or deported, and the public is safe again. Thanks to President Trump, we're able to take the handcuffs off our law enforcement officers, our great men and women at DEA who are out there every single day risking their lives to protect us and to protect our families. One Big Beautiful Bill enhances our law enforcement capabilities by also including money for technology that will help our agents catch these criminals. And they're getting so sophisticated. And Acting Director Murphy is going to explain to you. I've never seen anything like this either in my entire career as a prosecutor, how sophisticated they are in smuggling these drugs into our country. Now, I'm going to let him explain that to you with a truckload of cucumbers that came into our country. In addition to One Big Beautiful Bill, the Halt Fentanyl Act that was passed through Congress is now headed to the White House. That will help us because it analogs. Previously, these drugs that were coming into our country, they would change the precursors as fast as they can so they wouldn't be illegal coming into our country. No longer with the Halt Fentanyl Act. Also now, if a criminal is in possession of 100 grams or more of any fentanyl-related substance, they will face 10 years in prison minimum. President Trump, the Department of Justice, and the great men and women at the DEA will continue to fight to make America safe again. We will fight from Tampa to the Twin Cities, from Nassau County to the Golden Coast. And I can't wait for you to hear these recent cases that were just made. And to the Angel families and our incredible Angel sister who lost two brothers to drugs, and everyone affected by fentanyl, know that every day we will be out there fighting for you and your loved ones. The most important reminder we can give you here today, to high school kids, to college kids, to parents, to talk to your kids. Do not buy, take, accept any drug, any prescription drug from anyone off the street, even if it's a friend. Do not accept it. This is why. This is a real Adderall pill. This is a fake Adderall pill. You can't tell the difference. These are laced with drugs that could kill you. Over here, the oxycodone, the fake ones and the real ones. This is what was seized in Fresno, California. In Fresno, right?
Yes.
Amounts that could kill so many of our high school and college kids. They think that buying this on the street corner won't hurt them, but it will, and it can kill you. And that's why they're targeting places close to our universities as well. I'm going to let Acting Director Murphy now fill you in on all the details of these very, very important arrests that were made just within the last couple weeks. Thank you all for your attention to this very important matter.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. Men and women of the DEA lead the fight against the Mexican cartels. These cartels are responsible for the manufacturing, the smuggling, and the distribution, and then the subsequent collection of the money, because that's what's driving this problem is profit, and making sure that money makes it back into Mexico. How do we measure success? DEA works tirelessly every day to disrupt and dismantle these cartels. We are second to none at developing intelligence, interpreting it, and actioning it. Without the intelligence, these cases I'm going to go on to talk about, we would never be able to make. You are not going to randomly stop the amount of vehicles that we haven't come across at port of entry. There's no way. And some could be million a day. There's no way we're going to be able to stop every vehicle, search it, and find us. Without the actionable intelligence, the technology that we're hopefully going to be getting based on the new bill, will help us get better at doing our job and preventing this stuff from making it to the street in the first place. But we recognize that's not enough by itself. We have a responsibility to ensure the public is aware that threats posed by the cartels that endanger both public safety and national security, and this is where all of you come in today. We are seeing a disturbing trend. Cartels are now producing methamphetamine pills. We started seeing it in 2024 at a tremendous amount. We've already seized more methamphetamine pills this year than we did the entire year of 2024. These are made to look like popular drugs that our youngest men and women want, our college-age students. This is an effort by the cartels, a deliberate effort. Our young men and women are not seeking out methamphetamine pills. They are not seeking to get that. Unfortunately, they're being deceived into a life of potential addiction. We are fighting back, bringing this fight to the front lines. Fentanyl remains the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. Fentanyl and methamphetamine together are the toxic evidence that cartels have no value of life. Over the past few weeks, as the Attorney General mentioned, we've made historic seizures in multiple cities targeting these cartels who were recently designated by the President as foreign terrorist organizations. Attorney General spoke about Lexington, South Carolina, right outside Columbia University, University of South Carolina and Columbia, 156 pounds of meth. There was also, 156 pounds of fentanyl along with meth, weapons, cash, and an illegal alien that had previously been deported twice. Fresno, California, the 24 pounds of carfentanil, that's frightening. That's a large amount of any drug, let alone carfentanil. That cannot hit the streets. Luckily, we were able to stop it from getting the street. Gainesville, Georgia, suburb right outside of Atlanta. The 706 pounds of methamphetamine the Attorney General made mention of hidden in a shipment of cucumbers that crossed the Mexican border. Obviously, DEA intelligence led to that. We had not seen this unique. It was not a standard size kilo packages. They were cut in half, and they were built into the boxes that contained the cucumbers. So when you picked up a box, there was no way. So the average trooper or anybody stopping that truck, that 18-wheeler that had tons of cucumbers on it, opened up the back and looked. Unless you knew you were looking for this, there's no way you would have found it. And again, one of the individuals arrested there, an illegal alien deported twice, most recently after serving a federal conviction for drug trafficking, cocaine. Minneapolis, Minnesota, 889 pounds of methamphetamine. Again, one of the persons arrested in that case previously deported. Kern County, California, in Bakersfield. Along with our partners, we shut down a meth conversion lab. This is where we see where meth comes across the border in a liquid form, has to be converted back into something that's usable. It's useless in a liquid. It's converted back into crystallized methamphetamine. So very dangerous for the neighborhoods when you live in those areas. Toxic chemicals. This is some of the very, very toxic. The house easily explodes with the chemicals they're mixing. They seized 240 pounds of crystal meth that was finished and another 150 pounds of liquid meth that was in process. Galveston, Texas. Along with our other federal partners, CBP and others, we were able to seize 1,700 pounds of methamphetamine worth over the $15 million hidden inside a vehicle that was crossing into the United States. Two days ago in Austin, Texas, along with law enforcement partners, we seized an additional 785 pounds of methamphetamine hidden amongst the pallet of blueberries. Let me say this again. This is a national security threat, not just a drug problem. We are taking the fight directly to the cartels, not just at home, but internationally, across our borders, and online, through online platforms. We are not just seizing drugs, we are also dismantling the cartels' logistics and their finance networks. Just recently, DEA agents in Miami seized over $10 million in cryptocurrency directly linked to the Sinaloa cartel. In Omaha, we seized numerous handguns, including machine gun conversion devices, along with 40,000 fentanyl pills in a raid that was run by a locally based polydrug linked to a Mexican cartel. Just recently in Chicago, multi-state takedown in Indiana, Kentucky, and Arizona resulted in the seizure of 59 illegal firearms possessed by serious violent felons, along with 74 pounds of methamphetamine, 11 pounds of fentanyl, 11 pounds of cocaine, cash, and 23 individuals who were arrested. Every seizure demonstrates the reach the cartels have throughout the United States. Make no mistake, the cartels are operating in every corner of this country, and so are we. At this point, we'll take questions. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Administrator, I would like to get your perspective on what exactly is driving this, but I also have an off-topic question for the Attorney General in response to comments that President Trump made a short time ago, just a few moments ago on the South Lawn. He said that he would support you releasing additional credible evidence from the Epstein investigation. Is that something that you are open to doing?
Let me take that.
Just a few moments ago.
Let me take that first. This today is about fentanyl. This is about a wall of people right outside this room who have died from, I appreciate your question, but this today is about fentanyl overdoses throughout our country and people who have lost loved ones to fentanyl. That's the message that we're here to send today. Nothing about Epstein. I'm not going to talk about Epstein. Go ahead.
And so to your first question about what's driving this, clearly it's driven by profit. It's all it is. Mexican cartels are driven by profit only. These are business decisions. Everything we talked about today, whether it's how they're smuggling across the bill and the innovation they use to get it across the border, also the attempt at, quite frankly, during the 4th of July holiday, we think it was a concerted effort that they flood us because they thought there would be less law enforcement working at that time, and they sent as much as they could across the border into numerous cities. Didn't work out well for them. Also, the decision to start making methamphetamine pills, business decision, like any other company in America. They look at what is wanted, unfortunately. Taking a pill has a lot less stigma than shooting a drug in your arm, snorting it, smoking it. But that makes it that much more dangerous because it's less threatening to our young people who, again, from a national security standpoint, that 18 to 45-year-old men and women, that's who makes up our U.S. military, and we're losing them at historic rates. That is not what we can allow to continue, and that's what we're here to fight and continue to fight it. Yes, ma'am.
I have an on-topic and an off-topic question. On-topic, you spoke a lot about seizure numbers, but of all the different actions that you took over that weekend, can you talk to us about how many individuals are going to be facing criminal prosecution, not simply just being deported, perhaps, arrested and sent?
Everybody arrested in this will be facing. This is a serious amount of drugs.
Do you have a number?
Well, I don't off the top of my head because it was in multiple cities, but I think most of pretty much at every place we're talking about, I don't have an exact number.
And to jump in on that same topic, though, minimum 10 years in prison for almost all of these defendants, some 20, some 40, depending on the amount of drugs, the type of drugs, the level of drugs. Go ahead.
My off-topic question
Sure.
for you, Attorney General. Today on social media, President Trump made allegations about mortgage fraud against Senator Schiff. I'm wondering if you can comment on that and whether or not that issue has been referred and
Yeah, I just was told about those comments walking into this room, and we don't comment on whether there is or is not a pending investigation. But thank you. Anything else on topic today? Go ahead.
Madam Attorney General, on this matter of fentanyl,
Yeah.
is a priority clearly for the DEA, Department of Justice. Are you confident you're going to still be here to execute this because there's so many people calling for change at the Department of Justice?
I'm going to be here for as long as the president wants me here, and I believe he's made that crystal clear. It's 4 years, well, 3.5 now, right? We've got 6 months in, and it feels like 6 years. But I was with Director Patel this morning, and we are working on fighting violent crime. We are working on all these issues that we deeply care about to make America safe again and get these drugs off our streets. You know, we've been working on this since my really last 2 years. Fentanyl was coming on the market when I was State Attorney General. And now with these cartels, it's coming back. It's coming in more than ever. And the border has stopped that, but we're going to catch them and we're going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Yes, sir.
Is there disruption at the leadership of DOJ and the FBI with your relationship with Dan Bongino that is affecting the operations of the DOJ?
No, I'm not going to talk about personnel matters. No, I was with Director Patel all morning, and we are committed to keeping America safe, making America safe, working with our incredible partners at DEA, FBI, ATF, U.S. Marshals to do everything we can to make America safe, and that's what we're focused on. And today, we're focused on protecting our kids. And I would ask all of you, when you leave, go look at that wall outside, right outside this room, of all the fentanyl deaths, all the faces of fentanyl that you have done an amazing job putting up. Thank you all.
Following up on that.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to follow up on that question. I think the American people have a lot of questions about your relationship with the Deputy FBI Director. Do you believe that he should stay in his role?
I'm not going to discuss personnel matters. I think we all are committed to working together now to make America safe again, and that's what we're doing. Only on topic, guys. Go ahead.
First of all, I believe when you're in a public forum, you can choose or not choose to answer any questions, but I don't believe it is your right to ask us. Restrict those questions. That said, I will keep this on topic.
Thank you.
How can you keep America safe again when the president's budget for 2026 cuts DEA by $212 million and the FBI by $500 million? Can you support those cuts? Do you think they will harm your capacity to fight?
Well, it won't. That's a great question. It won't harm our capacity to fight. I'll tell you that. We can always do more with more, but we can do more with less, and that's what we're committed to doing. The big, beautiful bill also adds a tremendous amount for us in combating especially the drug crisis. Billions of dollars, I believe.
I think it's $400 million.
Yeah, let me see. $3.3 billion in the big, beautiful bill to combat drug trafficking, support the prosecution of immigration matters, and gang-related crimes. So that crosses all agencies as well. So that bill will greatly help us as well, in addition to the budget. We also have a $3.5 billion reimbursement fund for state and local agencies that are enforcing the Immigration Act, drug and human trafficking laws. And human trafficking is also something we're not talking about today, but is very, very important to us. Yes, there are billions of additional dollars in addition to the original budget. So that was a great question. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I think that's all.
The president said today you would release credible files related to Mr. Epstein. Are you prepared to do that, and when would you do that?
Our memo today, our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else. I haven't seen all of his statements today. Thank you.
How would you respond to the MAGA base that has expressed a lot of frustration about it?
We're going to fight to keep America safe again, and we're fighting together as a team. That's what's so important right now. You know, we've got a war on drugs. We've got a war on human trafficking. We've got cartels in this country, and we are going to do. We've got foreign adversaries around this world as well, and we're all going to work together as a team to fight to keep America safe again. And I can tell you that's what we're all committed to. Thank you. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for please show these pictures today. Thank you.
If anybody needs B-roll, there's some B-roll, especially of the cucumbers, the thing I talked about, some great video of that. If you need it, Shanaz, we can get that to him. So there's plenty of it. Yes.
Is there anything new on Canada? The president has talked about with respect to tariffs and fentanyl concerns in Canada. Have you seen anything recently that would be useful for the public to know about fentanyl from Canada?
I can just say that I myself have met with Canada, but I'm going to leave the rest of that to the president on those. But we've met and had discussions at least on 2 different occasions.
And we're going to do everything we can to keep every border safe, not just the border in Mexico. And the reason we wanted you to look at the cucumbers, I've never seen anything like it. There's a video of it that they'll get you. But when you took the cucumbers out of the box, they just look like a normal vegetable crate. And they even changed the packaging and the shape of the kilos to fit underneath the cardboard, where it was virtually impossible to detect, but they did detect it. So and some of these new funds will help us with technology to continue to take these drugs off our street. Thank you all, and thanks for covering this.
Can you get us the number of charged individuals?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
we can do that.
and they can get you the time they're facing too, whether it's 10, 20, or 40 years, depending on the pills. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Watching live coverage from the DOJ DEA joint press conference. Of course, a lot to be discussed there about combating the drug cartel. A lot of questions about the Epstein case. Also, we heard from President Trump earlier today. He spoke about a number of topics as well, including about the Jeffrey Epstein case. So we'll play that a little bit in our 3 o'clock hour, which is coming up in just a bit. That'll be a new live stream as we continue to watch the president there going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He'll have a speech there. We'll have that in its entirety right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Before we go, a number of great sponsors, of course, here at the network. All Family Pharmacy. If you've been feeling tired or foggy or just low on energy lately, it might not be just stress. It might be your cells running low on fuel. So that's why more and more people are talking about this NAD Plus and methylene blue. So as we get older, our cells slow down, but that doesn't mean you have to. These products are helping people boost their energy, clear out the brain fog, and stay sharp. And now you can actually get both NAD Plus and methylene blue at All Family Pharmacy. They make it easy to get the medications you need without the usual runaround. They have fast shipping, they don't require insurance, and the doctor's prescription is included. It's your go-to for essentials like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, antibiotics, and more, all online and delivered right to your door. So check out allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use that code RSBN10 to save 10% today. Again, that's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, code RSBN10 for a good discount there. And of course, RSBN is your source for live coverage of President Trump's second term. We bring you the presidential events, White House press briefings, and the news that matters most to conservatives like you. If you missed any of the news of today's broadcast, we had T.S. Dixon on talking about various topics. You can watch that interview. And we always are looking for great interviews here at the network. But you can like and share this broadcast and be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss when we're live. You can follow us on social media by searching RSB Network and sign up for exclusive updates at rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. So if you love what we do, you can support us at rsbnetwork.com/donate. Every contribution helps us keep bringing you the news each day. Text RSBN to 801-801 to stay connected. Or you can also, if you'd like, mail us cash or a check at 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6. It's a P.O. Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. So thank you for supporting RSBN. Also, if you missed that address, you can just hit pause, scrub back a little bit, and just listen to it. If you'd like to send a check or cash, I know that a number of you have reached out to us saying we'd like to, support the network through checks instead of the online way when it comes to going to rsbnnetwork.com there. So you have a number of options. You can text RSBN to 801-801. or rsbnetwork.com/donate, or mail the check or cash. All right, so it's 2:39 Tuesday, July 15th. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. We'll start another one in about 21 minutes from now as we cover the President of the United States of America.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.